Goodness is a word that men worship but rarely understand. It shines like gold from a distance, but when held too tightly, it burns the hand that clings to it. Every man is told from birth that to be good is to be loved is to be safe, and to be safe is to prosper. Yet this is the first and greatest deception of the world. The virtuous man is praised, but he is also watched. He is admired, but secretly mocked. He is trusted, yet used. The world does not reward purity. It uses it as a mirror to hide its filth. To be good in a world of wolves is to bleed beautifully. You will stand among men who smile with daggers behind their teeth. They will call you noble while they drain you of strength. They will say you are kind while they twist your kindness into obedience. And when your back bends from carrying their deceit, they will whisper that you are too weak to survive. This is the shocking cost of goodness, that every virtue you practice becomes a weapon in another's hand. Observe how easily good men are devoured by the cunning. The honest man believes words, the cunning man studies eyes. The kind man forgives, the shrewd man notes every weakness revealed in mercy. The moral man holds principles, the strategist bends them to purpose. In the quiet court of human affairs, morality is not the judge. Power is. The good man appeals to conscience, but conscience has no voice in the ear of the ambitious. Goodness without wisdom is slavery. The man who gives without discernment feeds his oppressor. The man who forgives endlessly invites betrayal. The man who speaks truth without caution arms his enemies with knowledge of his soul. The tragedy is not that goodness exists, but that it believes the world will repay it in kind. That illusion has destroyed more noble hearts than any sword. If you wish to understand power, first count the graves of the righteous. Their purity built kingdoms they never ruled. Their loyalty guarded thrones that betrayed them. Their faith became the cloak of tyrants who knew how to smile when they lied. The good man creates stability, the cunning man harvests its fruits. The world remembers the conqueror, not the saint, and so goodness becomes a currency of fools, spent lavishly, returned never. The cost of goodness is not paid in gold, but in blood, silence, and disillusionment. The man who refuses to see this truth will live his life chained to false honor, serving those who mastered deceit. To survive, one must learn to be good, but never naive, merciful, but never defenseless, honest, but never transparent. For purity without protection is not virtue, it is surrender. Goodness, my friends, is a perfume that intoxicates from afar, but suffocates those who wear it too long. Society teaches every man from childhood that to be good is to be rewarded, that honesty brings trust, humility brings love, and kindness brings peace. Yet when the boy becomes a man, he learns the bitter lesson that the world's admiration for goodness is only a disguise for its exploitation of it. The virtuous man becomes a tool, used, praised, and discarded by those who profit from his integrity. The applause that greets his morality is not respect, it is manipulation dressed in admiration. The truth is cruel. The good man walks through a marketplace of wolves, wearing a lamb's robe. His virtues make him visible, predictable, and easy to corner. He speaks truth and others learn how to deceive him. He forgives, and his mercy becomes a signal to the cunning that he lacks defense. His decency makes him trustworthy, but trust in the hands of the ruthless is a map of his weaknesses. What the innocent call moral victory, the cunning call strategic failure. The world adores the idea of the good man, but secretly despises his existence. Why? Because he exposes what others lack: conscience, restraint, loyalty. His presence stirs guilt in those who feed on deceit, and guilt breeds resentment. Thus men will crucify the pure not because they are evil, but because they cannot bear the reflection of their own corruption. History's most virtuous men were not rewarded, they were sacrificed, praised in public, betrayed in private, and remembered only when their blood had cooled. The cost of goodness, then, is not simply pain, it is the loss of power. For every time you bend to fairness in a world governed by ambition, you trade sovereignty for illusion. You expect decency from the deceitful, mercy from the merciless, honor from the ambitious, And when they devour you, you call it injustice, but it was naivety. The laws of nature are not moral, they are strategic. Only man believes otherwise, and only the good man pays the price for believing it. If you wish to remain good, learn this: purity without protection is suicide. Goodness must be guarded by intelligence. You must know when to give, when to forgive, and when to walk away in silence. For to survive as a good man in a wicked world, one must learn the art of being kind without being conquered. The world does not destroy the good, it consumes them slowly. It wraps them in praise until they forget their own hunger. It keeps them obedient through moral illusion. Be humble, it whispers, and you shall be exalted. But humility only exalts the powerful. Be patient, it promises, and justice will prevail. Yet justice in human hands is a servant of strength. The weak wait for fairness, the powerful define it. A good man lives by ideals, but the world lives by results. He believes that fairness will shield him, yet fairness is a myth maintained to comfort the powerless. He believes truth will triumph, but truth is often too expensive to purchase without deception. He believes that virtue commands respect, but respect is born not from goodness, but from necessity. Men respect only what they fear losing or what they wish to possess. Thus, the good man must learn a cruel balance, to wear virtue as armor, not as a chain. He must speak with purity, but act with prudence. The art of survival lies in controlling perception, appearing as what others revere while remaining untouched by their delusion. The good man who wishes to endure must become an actor in the theater of morality. He must learn to conceal strategy beneath sincerity, strength beneath calm, and calculation beneath kindness. Do not mistake this for hypocrisy. It is intelligence. Hypocrisy deceives others for gain. Intelligence shields one's truth from ruin. When the fox walks among lions, it must move softly, but never forget its teeth. To survive among predators, one must learn to master the illusion of peace without ever forgetting the war. The shocking cost of goodness is not only betrayal, but transformation. The moment the good man sees the cruelty of the world, his heart hardens. He begins to calculate the value of his own mercy. He learns that his kindness must be rationed, that his compassion must be directed, not given freely, but invested wisely. The naive call this corruption, the wise call it evolution. If you wish to remain good, you must learn to rule your goodness. Let it serve your interest, not consume it. Let your virtue be a weapon in your hand, not a leash around your neck. For every man who wishes to lead, or even to survive with dignity, must understand that the world does not reward the pure, it rewards the prepared. And preparation begins the day you stop expecting the world to play fair. The world devours the good not with swords, but with smiles. It does not strike them down. It simply convinces them to kneel. The good man is taught to believe that humility will earn him respect, patience will bring him reward, and truth will secure his safety. Yet these promises are illusions whispered by those who benefit from his restraint. Be humble, they say, as they climb upon his bowed back. Be patient, they advise, while they seize every opportunity he waits for. Be honest, they insist, so that his transparency can be used against him. Thus, the chains of virtue are forged not from cruelty, but from persuasion. The harsh truth is that the world is not designed for the sincere, it is designed for the strategic. Goodness without wisdom becomes a form of obedience. The honest man obeys the rules while others rewrite them. The patient man waits for justice while the cunning man shapes it. The good man hopes for fairness while the powerful define it. And so the virtuous leave at the mercy of those who understand that morality is not an end. It is a tool. To survive, the good man must learn a cruel wisdom to separate his heart from his strategy. Let his words reflect sincerity, but let his mind remain calculating. He must master the art of appearing good while remaining ungoverned by illusion. Virtue must serve him, not enslave him. The world rewards not the pure, but the adaptable. Those who know when to bend and when to strike understand this: appearing righteous is often more useful than being righteous. Men trust what they admire, and they admire what looks noble. Therefore, the wise man wears goodness as armor, not as skin. He speaks gently to disarm suspicion, acts fairly to maintain loyalty, and shows compassion to conceal his intent. This is not deceit. It is self-defense. The shocking cost of goodness is that to preserve it, you must disguise it. For if you display it openly, the vultures will gather. They will drain your virtue until it becomes your ruin. The wise learn to balance light and shadow, to act with purity when it is safe, and with cunning when it is necessary. Only then can a man remain good in essence, and yet untouchable in practice. Men who believe goodness alone is strength misunderstand the nature of power. Power is not granted by virtue, it is seized by perception. People follow not the pure, but the effective. They do not care if a ruler is good, only that he is strong enough to protect or profitable enough to obey. History is written not by saints, but by survivors. Consider those who built empires. None of them were purely good. They were intelligent enough to appear righteous when it was useful, merciless when it was necessary, and silent when it was wise. They understood that morality is a tool of influence, a language that pacifies the crowd while concealing the machinery of control. The good man, unaware of this, plays the role of servant in a world of actors. This is the bitter truth. Pure goodness inspires love, but never command. Men love the gentle because they are safe to love. But love does not protect you, fear does. Love is fragile, shifting with emotion. Fear is stable, rooted in necessity. If a man wishes to be both respected and safe, he must blend the two. Enough goodness to be admired, enough strength to be feared. The balance is delicate, but once mastered, it grants authority without chains. Do not seek to be liked, seek to be necessary. For when men depend on you, they forgive your flaws and ignore your sins. Goodness alone makes you replaceable, usefulness makes you immortal. The man who feeds others needs commands loyalty, even if his heart is made of iron. In the end, the cost of goodness is the forfeiture of sovereignty. The man who serves virtue without strategy becomes a servant of those who do not. To be free, one must redefine goodness, not as submission to moral illusion, but as mastery over self and circumstance. The world is not a temple, it is a battlefield disguised as a marketplace. Those who kneel too long at the altar of virtue will be trampled when the market closes. True wisdom is not to reject goodness, but to govern it. Let your mercy be disciplined, your generosity conditional, your truth selective. For the world is not ruled by those who are right, but by those who are ready. Those who believe that goodness alone commands power misunderstand the very essence of human nature. Power does not kneel before virtue, it bows before control. Men do not follow the pure, they follow the effective. They are loyal not to the saint, but to the strong hand that can protect or reward them. A good man, if he lacks strategy, becomes an ornament in the court of those who understand influence. His moral light may inspire admiration, but admiration without fear is fragile. It fades when interest shifts. The world does not ask if a man is good, it asks if he can deliver results. History remembers the conquerors, not the righteous. The pure may build the foundations of peace, but the cunning claim the throne above it. Those who ruled empires understood that morality was a costume, to be worn before the people, removed in private, and used as a language to control. The good man mistakes sincerity for strength, while the wise man uses sincerity as strategy. Pure goodness is powerless because it relies on the conscience of others. But conscience is a luxury of the strong. The weak invoke it only when they cannot act. The cunning man knows this. He uses goodness as a performance, enough to appear trustworthy, never enough to be vulnerable. He plays the role of the noble, but behind the mask, every word and gesture serves a purpose. To lead, a man must learn balance, the art of blending mercy with fear. Love alone makes one disposable, fear alone makes one hated. But a man who masters both commands loyalty that cannot easily be broken. Let others believe you are kind, but never let them forget you are capable of consequence. The man who is both respected and quietly feared walks safely through chaos. Do not chase admiration, chase necessity. When men depend on you, their affection becomes irrelevant. They will protect you for their own survival. This is the hidden power behind all authority. The man who serves others' needs becomes indispensable. Goodness without strategy makes you replaceable, but usefulness makes you eternal. The cost of blind goodness, then, is freedom itself. The man who cannot wield virtue with calculation becomes a servant of those who can. True wisdom is not to abandon goodness, but to govern it, to make it serve strength rather than weaken it. The good man suffers because he believes that others share his heart. He measures the world by his own conscience, expecting fairness where there is none. He trusts words that were spoken only to disarm him. He forgives those who interpret forgiveness as weakness. He waits for justice while his enemies write the laws. His tragedy is not his morality, but his blindness. Every age celebrates virtue in public and betrays it in private. Men praise honesty until it exposes them. They honor loyalty until it restricts them. They admire sacrifice, but only when someone else bleeds. The good man becomes their scapegoat, the bearer of sins they publicly condemn but privately commit. If he wishes to endure, he must awaken. He must understand that goodness has no meaning without control. To do good effectively, one must possess the power to withhold it. A man without the ability to punish cannot truly forgive. A man who cannot destroy cannot truly protect. A man who cannot deceive cannot truly understand truth. Power gives goodness its weight. You must therefore cultivate duality. Be kind but unreadable. Be just but unpredictable. Let your silence create fear and your smile conceal thought. The highest form of goodness is strategy, the ability to act righteously without becoming a sacrifice. Remember this: those who pretend to love goodness often exploit it. They will encourage your virtue only so they may profit from it. When your strength is drained, they will move on to another. The wise man recognizes this cycle and breaks it. He becomes good by choice, not by compulsion. His goodness serves his vision, not his vanity. In this world, survival is the first morality. All other virtues rest upon the foundation of existence. What use is generosity if you are enslaved? What value has kindness if it ends in your ruin? The world honors the dead hero only because he no longer competes with the living. Therefore, live wisely, not purely. Let your goodness endure by making it intelligent. The good man suffers because he believes others possess the same heart he does. He cannot imagine deceit in a friendly smile or malice behind gentle words. He measures the world by his own honesty, and in doing so he becomes blind to its true nature. His goodness is not his flaw, his blindness is. He trusts too quickly, forgives too easily, and waits too long for justice that never comes. He does not see that in a world ruled by ambition, virtue without vigilance is a slow form of self-destruction. Every generation worships goodness in words, but betrays it in deeds. Men praise honesty until it exposes their lies. They celebrate loyalty until it limits their freedom. They call for mercy when they are weak, yet demand punishment when they are strong. The crowd always applauds virtue from the safety of distance, but when virtue becomes inconvenient, they turn on it without remorse. Thus, the good man becomes both the idol and the scapegoat of humanity. He carries the guilt of those who use his light to hide their own shadows. If a good man wishes to endure, he must awaken from this dream. He must realize that goodness has no power without control. What is forgiveness if it cannot be withheld? What is justice if it cannot punish? What is protection if it cannot destroy? Power gives goodness its value. Without it, virtue is a hollow word, admired but ineffective. A man cannot defend the right without the ability to confront the wrong. Therefore, one must cultivate duality, the sacred balance between heart and mind. Be kind, but unreadable. Be just, but unpredictable. Show mercy only when it strengthens your position. Let your silence carry more weight than your words. The world must never know the full measure of your virtue, for it will seek to drain it the moment it is exposed. The highest form of goodness is not surrender, but strategy, the ability to act righteously without being destroyed by righteousness. Remember this truth: the world rewards survival, not innocence. To live without strategy is to die with good intentions. True morality is not dying for ideals, but living wisely enough to protect them. In a world that feeds on purity, the wise man learns to clothe his virtue in armor, and smile as the wolves wonder what lies beneath. To master goodness is to master perception. Appear virtuous when it benefits you, yet act strategically when it preserves you. Let others see purity, but know within yourself that purity must be guarded by cunning. The world is too cruel to reward open innocence. It bows only to controlled virtue. True strength lies not in abandoning goodness, but in weaponizing it. The wise man uses kindness to open doors, honesty to disarm suspicion, and mercy to create dependence. He understands that goodness is most powerful when it becomes a mask behind which intelligence directs every move. The good man dies believing the world will remember his purity. The wise man lives knowing the world remembers only effectiveness. You must decide which legacy you desire: to be loved briefly for your virtue, or to be respected eternally for your results. Love fades with memory. Respect endures through consequence. The shocking cost of goodness is the realization that it cannot exist without strategy. The man who learns this truth becomes untouchable. He moves in silence, helps when it serves his design, forgives when it strengthens his control, and speaks truth only when silence would cost him more. He is not cruel, he is conscious. He is not manipulative, he is awake. The final lesson is this: never let the world teach you to hate your own goodness. Let it teach you to guard it. Let your virtue be like a blade, beautiful, sharp, and hidden until needed. For in a realm of deception, the pure must learn disguise. The wise do not abandon light, they learn to move it through shadow. In this way, goodness ceases to be weakness and becomes mastery, the art of ruling without cruelty, protecting without submission, and giving without being consumed. The world will not understand you, but it will obey you, and that, in the end, is the only form of goodness the world truly respects. To master goodness, one must first master how it appears. The world judges not by purity of heart, but by perception. It does not see your intent, only your presentation. Therefore, the wise man learns to wear goodness as both shield and sword. He understands that in a world ruled by image, to appear virtuous is often more valuable than to be virtuous. Yet he also knows that this appearance must never control him, it must serve him. He uses morality as a language of influence, not as a leash that binds his will. Goodness without wisdom is exposure. It reveals your softness to men who feed on advantage, but goodness guided by intellect becomes a weapon, capable of inspiring trust, disarming enemies, and commanding loyalty. The true strategist knows when to display mercy to win hearts, and when to hide it to maintain fear. He acts kindly, not because he is weak, but because kindness, at the right moment, multiplies power. His generosity buys silence. His fairness earns information. His compassion builds allegiance. Every virtue he shows has purpose behind it. The knave, a good man, seeks to be loved. The wise man seeks to be respected. Love is fickle. It fades with misunderstanding, jealousy, or convenience. But respect, once forged through power and control, endures even in silence. You must decide, therefore, whether you wish to be adored for your purity or remembered for your strength. The world forgets good men quickly, but it never forgets those who understood how to wield goodness intelligently. The shocking cost of goodness is the realization that it cannot survive without armor. To preserve your virtue, you must protect it with strategy. Act pure, but think shrewdly. Speak truth, but never reveal everything. Forgive, but remember precisely who wronged you. Let the world see your light, but never let it know where the fire is kept. For in a realm governed by deception, the openly good are the first to fall. The final wisdom is this: never abandon goodness. Transform it. Let your virtue be deliberate, your morality disciplined, your compassion precise. Use light to navigate the dark, not to announce your presence within it. The wise do not lose their goodness. they weaponize it. And when they do, the world ceases to consume them. It begins to obey them.